Aragorn, Gandalf, and Frodo. You can read them under the rubric of priest, prophet, and king, which is one of the oldest ways of talking about Jesus.
Did J.R.R. Tolkien express all three major aspects of Christ in the three main characters of Lord of the Rings?
Now, all three are Christ figures because they all give themselves away in love and go through a kind of dying and rising experience. Frodo is a priest because he makes a sacrifice. He's going to go and basically sacrifice himself, right? Gandalf is a prophet because he's a teacher. He's one that explains, and he's the wisdom figure. Aragorn is the king. He's the return of the king. Aragorn, remember, goes under the mountain and he goes to the realm of the dead and he calls them back and then he leads them on a charge. He's the king who's gone down to the realm of the dead and now is risen. Gandalf battled this great demonic figure and then he tumbles down with him into this infinite abyss. He dies. Then he rises as Gandalf the White in the gleaming white robes of the risen Christ. So he's also a dying and rising figure. Frodo, not a great hero, nobody would notice him. So he can slip clandestinely into Mordor. He's able to go right into the heart of darkness. And at the heart of darkness, there, destroy the ring. Part of the genius of Tolkien, he could have told the Catholic story in a straightforward way, but it's done with such indirection and subtlety that part of the fun is discovering it in that symbolic way.
All right, what Bishop Barron is pointing out here is one of the main reasons we cannot make fantasy the way that Tolkien did. When asked where he got his ideas, Tolkien said, "They grew like seeds in the dark out of the leaf mold of my mind. Out of all that has been or thought or read, that has long been forgotten, descending into the depths." What he was describing is that there's almost this kind of composting process that happens when you expose yourself to great stories. And of course, what he spent most of his time contemplating was the greatest, truest story of all human history of Christ coming to save the world. And in that, he was able to let that sort of decompose in his mind, combine with other ideas, and then give birth to the amazingness that is Lord of the Rings. And this is also the reason he was able to lead C.S. Lewis to Christ. We know the story that they were having a debate, and Tolkien was arguing that there is something sort of dark about all these myths, and he was wrestling with the nature of mythology itself. And basically Tolkien was saying the thing that's unique about Christianity, it is the true myth that explains all the other myths. Tolkien then pointed out that the idea of the God who sacrifices himself is the most profound story in all of human history, in any pagan myth. And so then he created in Lord of the Rings the perfect articulation that we've ever seen by a fallen human that describes in these different characters the way that these three different aspects of the Christ figure in Lord of the Rings works to bring together all of those threads of who Jesus is. And so sometimes when people have a hard time really understanding the nature of Christ, having a incredible fiction like Lord of the Rings that's articulated through the faith of a man who was so deeply steeped in the Bible, you can begin to see all kinds of aspects of who Christ is by really understanding how Tolkien was able to see those and then show those to us through the art of Lord of the Rings.